The story of Crazy Horse, a towering figure in Lakota history, exemplifies the unyielding resilience, profound spirituality, and indomitable spirit of the Lakota people during an era of immense upheaval. Far more than a warrior, Crazy Horse personified the deeply ingrained values of his tribe, weaving a narrative of courage, humility, and unwavering dedication to the survival and dignity of his people. Living during a period of dramatic change for Native American tribes, Crazy Horse stood as a steadfast symbol of the Lakota's determination, resisting not only the relentless encroachment of settlers, but also the systematic efforts to dismantle their culture and way of life. To grasp the legacy of Crazy Horse, one must explore the rich traditions of the Lakota Sioux and the historical landscape that shaped his existence. The Lakota were one of the 7 bands of the Great Sioux Nation, traditionally inhabiting the expansive Great Plains, a land defined by rolling prairies, mighty rivers, and abundant buffalo herds. The buffalo, central to their existence, provided sustenance, materials for clothing, shelter, and tools, while also holding profound spiritual significance. Its migration patterns even dictated the movements of the tribe, highlighting their deep connection to nature's rhythms. Crazy Horses. Heritage was deeply rooted in Lakota customs, which emphasized the individual's role within the larger tribal identity. His family, well regarded within the Oglala Lakota tribe, was known for its strength, wisdom, and skill. His father, Worm, a revered medicine man and the original bearer of the name Crazy Horse, embodied Lakota spirituality and healing. Among the Lakota, medicine men were akin to religious leaders, blending an understanding of medicinal plants with spiritual guidance to serve and support the community. Worm's spiritual insight and healing abilities left a lasting impression on his son, shaping the young Crazy Horse's sense of purpose and identity. Born between 1840 and 1842, Crazy Horse entered the world during a pivotal moment for the Lakota. Exact dates are uncertain due to the oral traditions of the tribe, which prioritized significant life events over recorded birth dates. This era marked the beginning of increased encounters with settlers moving westward, spurred by the lure of gold and the promise of free land. The American expansion, fueled by the ideology of manifest destiny, created mounting tensions between native tribes and settlers, tensions that would ultimately ignite full-scale conflicts as the U.S. government pushed to confine native peoples to reservations. Crazy Horse's early years were steeped in Lakota teachings of spirituality, survival, and communal responsibility. His lighter skin and hair, distinct among Lakota children, earned him the nickname Light Hair or Curly. His mother, concerned that his unusual appearance might subject him to ridicule, turned it into a source of pride, embracing his uniqueness and nurturing his confidence. This small but powerful gesture reflected the Lakota's respect for individuality within the collective framework of their society. Tragically, Crazy Horse lost his mother around the age of 4, a profound loss that left an emotional void. In Lakota society, where family ties were strong and integral, the absence of a mother weighed heavily on a young child. His father and stepmothers worked to fill this gap, ensuring he grew up with the support and teachings necessary to navigate the challenges that lay ahead. His father remarried, a common practice in Lakota culture, where polygamy often provided a robust support system for families. These new maternal figures brought much-needed stability to Crazy Horse's childhood, guiding him as he grew. Under their care, he began to hone his hunting skills and developed a quiet, contemplative nature that would later become one of his defining traits. Even at a young age, Crazy Horse demonstrated remarkable potential for the traditional skills of a warrior. When he was just 4 years old, he received his first bow, marking the start of his training in archery and hunting. The Lakota placed great emphasis on building physical and mental resilience, introducing their boys to games and challenges that mirrored the demands of hunting and warfare. Crazy Horse excelled in these activities, quickly gaining a reputation for his exceptional archery skills and his ability to track animals and people. By the age of 12, he had become a proficient hunter, contributing meat to his family and showcasing talents that foretold his future as a skilled and formidable warrior. Among his closest companions was Lone Bear, a fellow boy from the tribe who shared his enthusiasm for physical contests and warrior training. The two often played games such as buffalo chase, where one boy mimicked a buffalo while the other tried to hunt him using blunted arrows. These games were more than mere amusement. They were essential training exercises, honing speed, precision, and an understanding of the dynamics between predator and prey. Though injuries were common, the trust between the boys allowed them to push their limits, refining their instincts for future challenges. A key figure in Crazy Horse's development was his mentor, High Backbone, also known as Hump. High Backbone, a distinguished war chief and likely a relative, possibly an uncle on his mother's side, recognized the young boy's extraordinary potential. Taking Crazy Horse under his wing, High Backbone imparted critical warrior skills and instilled in him the core Lakota values of bravery, humility, and loyalty to his people. High Backbone, revered for his courage and wisdom, became both a role model and a father figure, guiding Crazy Horse in understanding the responsibilities and perils of the warrior path. This mentorship profoundly shaped Crazy Horse's sense of purpose, aligning his growing skills with a deep commitment to protecting his tribe and their way of life. Crazy Horse's formative years were deeply intertwined with the rising tensions between the Lakota and the United States government. One pivotal event was the Grattan Massacre of 1854, a conflict that would leave a lasting impression on the young boy. The incident began when a cow belonging to a Mormon immigrant wandered into a Lakota camp. In accordance with Lakota customs, which viewed stray animals as a form of reciprocity for the settlers' depletion of game, the cow was killed and consumed. Soldiers from Fort Laramie were dispatched to the camp, accompanied by an interpreter who was reportedly intoxicated and hostile toward the Lakota. What could have been a minor dispute escalated into violence. Conquering Bear, a Lakota leader known for his diplomatic efforts, sought to maintain peace but was fatally shot during the confrontation. The Lakota retaliated, killing Lieutenant John Grattan and all 30 of his men. This deadly skirmish, one of the first major clashes between the Lakota and the U.S. Army, reverberated throughout the plains. For Crazy Horse, who was still a boy, the event underscored the fragility of relations between his people and the U.S. government. The death of Conquering Bear and the ensuing violence became a powerful narrative within Lakota communities, fueling a collective spirit of resistance that took root in Crazy Horse's young heart. For Lakota youth, bearing witness to battles or engaging in ceremonial acts of bravery, such as recovering scalps, was an integral part of their education. These experiences were not only rites of passage, but also lessons in courage, solidarity, and the unrelenting fight to preserve their way of life. In the face of mounting threats. In Lakota culture, the act of counting coup, touching an enemy in battle without causing harm, was a supreme mark of valor, symbolizing bravery and skill. Scalps, taken during combat, served as tangible emblems of courage and victory. These traditions deeply influenced Crazy Horse, instilling in him a profound sense of honor and an unyielding resolve to protect his people's freedom. However, the aftermath of the Grattan Massacre brought devastating consequences. In retaliation, the U.S. Army launched an expedition under General William S. Harney. His forces attacked a Lakota village at Blue Water Creek, in what came to be known as the Battle of Ash Hollow. This violent encounter left over 80 Lakota dead, including women and children, and many others were captured. Survivors recounted harrowing brutality, with bodies mutilated and desecrated. General Harney earned the moniker Woman Killer or the Butcher among the Lakota for the atrocities committed against defenseless women and children. When Crazy Horse arrived at the scene, he was confronted with the aftermath of this massacre, an indelible vision of devastation that would forever shape his perception of the U.S. soldiers and deepen his determination to resist their encroachments. Following these traumatic events, Crazy Horse embarked on a vision quest, a pivotal rite of passage in Lakota spirituality. These journeys involved fasting, isolation, and prayer, undertaken in pursuit of divine insight or guidance. Alone on a high bluff, Crazy Horse fasted for days, seeking clarity about his path. His perseverance was rewarded with a profound and vivid vision. He saw himself riding boldly through a storm, lightning illuminating his face, and hailstones pelting him. Overhead, a red-tailed hawk, a sacred symbol of freedom and spiritual protection, soared. The vision foretold a life of immense courage and responsibility, but also carried a somber warning. His greatest struggles would come not only from external enemies, but also from within his own people. Upon sharing the vision with his father, Worm, it was interpreted as a sign of Crazy Horse's unique destiny. Worm recognized his son's calling as a Thunder Dreamer, a sacred role within Lakota spirituality. Thunder Dreamers were bound to unconventional lives, embodying humility and spiritual purpose. Crazy Horse was expected to avoid vanity, refraining from traditional displays of triumph such as singing, dancing, or participating in festive celebrations. This austere path reflected the Lakota belief in balance. Crazy Horse's humility would offset the pride often associated with his rising status as a warrior. As he matured, Crazy Horse's deeds began to affirm his place among the Lakota warriors. In one notable raid, he accompanied his mentor, High Backbone. Staying true to his vision, Crazy Horse painted his body with red lightning and hailstones before entering the fray. The battle was fierce, with the enemy entrenched on high ground. Undeterred, Crazy Horse charged fearlessly into the heart of the conflict. His courage was awe-inspiring, as he seemed almost invulnerable, moving through a hail of bullets with uncanny grace. His actions rallied his comrades, leading them to a decisive victory. However, during the aftermath of the battle, while attempting to scalp an enemy, Crazy Horse was injured, a humbling reminder of the lessons embedded in his vision. This incident marked a turning point in his life. Recognizing the spiritual and martial significance of his son's bravery, Worm performed a ceremonial act, bestowing upon him the family name Crazy Horse. This name carried profound weight, signifying not only his lineage, but also his earned place among the Lakota's greatest warriors. From that moment, Crazy Horse became more than a name, it became a legacy. His actions, marked by humility and unwavering resolve, would cement his role as a protector of the Lakota people and their way of life. It was an identity deeply intertwined with spiritual purpose, resilience, and unwavering dedication to his people's welfare. In a poignant act of humility, Worm relinquished his own name and adopted Worm, symbolizing that his role as the father of Crazy Horse, now a revered figure, held far greater significance than any personal pride. Crazy Horse's life would become a testament to the Lakota's enduring fight for freedom, marked by legendary battles and strategic alliances. One of the earliest and most significant battles in which Crazy Horse played a central role was the Fetterman Fight of 1866. Collaborating with other Lakota leaders, he executed a brilliant tactical ambush near Fort Phil Kearny. Using himself as bait, Crazy Horse and his allies lured Captain William J. Fetterman and his 80 soldiers into a trap, where they were completely annihilated. This victory, stunning in its precision and outcome, bolstered Crazy Horse's reputation as a master tactician and showcased the effectiveness of Lakota warfare against a better-equipped enemy. Yet, it was the Battle of the Little Bighorn in 1876, often called Custer's Last Stand, that solidified Crazy Horse's place in history. In this iconic confrontation, Crazy Horse joined forces with Sitting Bull and other leaders to unite a rare coalition of native tribes, including the Lakota, Cheyenne, and Arapaho. Together, they resisted the relentless U.S. military campaigns aiming to confine them to reservations. At Little Bighorn, their forces overwhelmed General George Armstrong Custer's 7th Cavalry, inflicting a crushing defeat that reverberated across the nation. The battle, a momentous victory for the tribes, became a symbol of indigenous resistance. Yet, it was bittersweet. Though triumphant, it only intensified the government's resolve to subdue the Lakota and their allies. The aftermath of Little Bighorn brought relentless military pressure, starvation, and hardship. By 1877, Crazy Horse faced the harsh reality of dwindling resources and mounting threats to his people's survival. With a heavy heart, he made the agonizing decision to surrender, not out of defeat, but out of hope to spare his people further suffering. However, his surrender did not bring peace. Tensions between Crazy Horse and U.S. officials remained high, fueled by mistrust and manipulation. Tragically, Crazy Horse's life came to an untimely end later that year. Amid ongoing disputes, he was taken into custody. During a scuffle at Fort Robinson, he was fatally stabbed in the back by a soldier while being restrained by his own people. This betrayal fulfilled the dark prophecy of his vision quest, where he foresaw that he would face betrayal by those closest to him. His death marked not only the loss of a great leader, but also symbolized the collapse of a way of life for the Lakota and many other Native American tribes. Despite his tragic end, Crazy Horse's legacy endures. He remains a timeless symbol of resistance, integrity, and the indomitable spirit of the Lakota people. His name, Crazy Horse, continues to evoke the image of a warrior who stood steadfast in his commitment to the survival and dignity of his people, inspiring generations to remember and honor the enduring fight for justice and freedom.